welcome to the RA Kids channel. Now, as promised in the introduction video, I am gonna show you and tell you how to set up and play the game Evolution: The Beginning. Okay? It's the beginning, it's the basic. Okay? Now, let's get started. You should have gotten in the box this thing, and inside them were these food pieces. Okay? You should take them all out like this. Okay? Now, just put them in a pile. Okay? Now, let's get started. Okay, first, there's a difference, okay? There's a carnivore, like this one, and a herbivore. A herbivore doesn't really matter. It's just like a population, okay? We'll get to that later. Now, first, let's explain with the cards, okay? These are the defensive trait cards, okay? This one is a Nocturnal, this one is Flight, Speed, and Defensive Horse is a little more complicated, and this is Burrowing, okay? So, for Nocturnal, Flight, Speed, and Burrowing, a carnivore must have these traits to kill that person, okay? If the person doesn't have any of these defensive traits, the carnivore can kill them easily without any traits. Now, for the defensive horns, this is a little more tricky. For the defensive horns, a carnivore, if it kills a population with the card that has defensive horns, it loses its population, okay? This card, okay? Defensive horns. Now, I'll show you that and demonstrate that when we're playing the game, okay? Now, the next one is the food traits. The food traits has only two, Long Neck and Scavenger. Long Neck, it's one of my favorite cards because it helps to, have more coins than each other. So, Long Neck. Before you draw your cards from the pile, you should take 3 food pieces like these from the access pile. So you should divide these into 2 piles. That's how you get more coins. Now, Scavenger. If you have Scavenger in your population, if someone in your group you're playing with killed someone, like suppose Nellie killed Sally, everyone who has a Scavenger gets 1 food piece. Okay? 1 food piece if you have Scavenger and someone kills a carnivore. Okay? Now, next is the population traits. In the population traits, there's Fat Tissue and Fertile. Okay? Fat Tissue. In your population, like this one, you see that it has a little flower. That's where you put the food. So, if you have fat tissue in your population, this only gets 1, but if you have fat tissue, it gets 2 food pieces, okay? That's how fat tissue works. And fertile, okay? Population. You gain 1 population before you draw cards, okay? I'm going to explain what population is when I demonstrate the game, okay? The last but not least one is the carnivore. This is what kills and is the main thing about this game. It can only kill anyone if he has the defensive cards that any other player has and he wants to kill that player, okay? Now, we're done with explaining the cards. Now, I'm going to demonstrate the game with 3 players. You'll get these bags. They have 5, so you can play up to 5 players. Each player will take 1 card. Let me just put everything away. And you need lots and lots of space, okay? So, first I'm going to show you how to set up for the game, okay? And then I can demonstrate how to play them, okay? Now, there's a deck of cards that you should have got. You should put them in the middle, okay? Or like this. And then you should also have gotten a palm-like feature. It's really small. You should also put that in the middle. And then each player just chooses 1 bag, like that. I'm just going to go with 3 players, okay? And then you have to divide these into excess pile and food bank. I'm just going to put this as food bank on one side, and then the excess pile from the other one. Okay. Now, if you got a long neck and you have to take 3 coins, you should take it from here, not the food bank. Okay. Now, another important rule. Every player, when he or she starts the game, they should put 2 food pieces from the food bank in the pond. And only herbivores can eat from this pond. Carnivores should not eat from it. They should kill anyone else and they should eat from that. Now, if a carnivore kills 1 population, he gets 2 food pieces, and you should also take that from the food pile. And if he kills 1, he gets 2 food pieces. If he kills 2, he gets 4. So, yeah. Now, that's how that works. Now, every player should get 4 cards in the game, okay? Just 4 cards in the game. Now, I'm going to explain that a little more. Okay, now, I've given each of my players 4 cards and some room to play, okay? Now, you should not show your cards to anyone else, but I'm just going to show it to you. You see? These are the cards I got. But instead of this, let's go to the number 1 player, okay? Number 1 player. This is one. He or she should put 1 here and a population. This Mary might ask, what's a population? A population is a card. You should just take 1 card. You should not look at it, and it really doesn't matter if you look at it. You just put it like this. Let's put that back to a side. And now, let's look at this. Now, we got 2 defensive traits and 2 eating traits. Now, you could put up to 3 cards in this, okay? Or you could just leave it alone. But for a carnivore to eat, if nobody has those traits. Now, I'm going to put speed. Sorry. Nocturnal, long neck, and scavenger, okay? I put 3. You could put 2 if you want, but I'm just putting 3, okay? Now, this, I'm just going to put it aside. Now, nocturnal. This does nothing except if a carnivore can kill this card, and if he kills this card, all of these cards will be discarded as well. Okay? Now, if the carnivore can only kill if he has this card, and long neck, okay? Long neck will get 3 food pieces from the access pile, okay? And you should not use these to feed your population, okay? You should just put them in your bag direct, okay? So that's done. Now, you should feed, okay, scavenger. Nobody killed anyone, so this person does not get a coin, okay? Now, we should feed this population or this will die. And if this dies, all these cards will be discarded, okay? Now, let's see. From the pond, we have 2, right? I'm just going to take 1 and put it here. Done. Now, you shouldn't keep that every time. You should put it in your baggie. Now, that's how that, but what do you say if, like, another person leaves 1? You should just leave it. It's good for the next player.